Apparently, this white tiger decided to hit on the lioness, but she did not appreciate the attentions and responded with a series of powerful blows with clawed paws on the muzzle. The tiger is bigger and more massive, but he had to not just fall behind, but run in panic from an angry cat. And we will show you other cases of unexpectedly fierce resistance in the natural world. Action from the first second. The lion furiously attacked the competitor and grabbed his head. But this was a big mistake. The aggressor underestimated the enemy. Even from a recumbent position, the second lion managed to repel the enemy. He withstood the first attack, was able to dodge the most dangerous blows, and then overwhelmed the aggressor by throwing him over his shoulder. And it looks like a judo move. The lion who started the fight clearly did not expect such knowledge of martial arts from his opponent. Now the aggressor is lying on the ground and trying his best to avoid terrible wounds and fatal blows. The mane protects the lion's throat from bites, but any defense has its own strength limit. A terrible roar is heard throughout the area, while the enraged lions inflict crushing blows on each other and dig their claws and fangs into the opponent's body, head, and limbs. Pay attention to how they combine bites with the use of their hind legs. This is possible only during a fight in the stalls, when both opponents are on their backs or on their sides. Pulling the opponent towards him, the aggressor begins to tear him with the claws of his hind paws. It was the only chance to escape, because the lion, skilled in defense, is already on top, already biting his paw, beating and reaching with his fangs to the throat of the aggressor. The one who started the fight is forced to go on the defensive. But the lion, who managed to defend himself after the first terrible attack, does not want to be left with a broken jaw or without an eye. Therefore, he releases the aggressor. When the lions realize that they will not be able to finish the fight quickly in this position, they jump up and begin to glare at each other and intimidate with growls. How coolly, fiercely, and effectively the lion was able not only to fight back against the aggressor, but also to pile on him deserves your like, doesn't it? A river otter was dozing peacefully on the beach when it was spotted by a jaguar. It is one of the most formidable predators of the New World and has a 4 times more powerful bite than a lion. The jaguar rushes at the otter and squeezes it with its paws, hoping for an easy victory. But an unpleasant surprise awaits him. It seems that the otter is a living liquid. Even trapped by the claws and fangs of the enemy, she reacts instantly, twists, and bites the jaguar right in the nose. This is a sensitive area on the cat's body, its pain point. An otter bite may not be particularly dangerous, but it causes terrible pain. Shocked by such a rebuff, the jaguar releases its prey. And relatives are already rushing to help the otter, so the spotted predator has to retreat. Both lions and hyenas often feed on carrion and look for it at the first opportunity. This is reasonable because such a meal does not need to be procured. It is already ready. And although the quality of the meat is not the best, the predator does not expend energy on its prey, so it wins. But when these lions found a huge carcass for their lunch, they did not take into account whose territory they were really in. This reservoir has already been captured by a hippopotamus, and contacting him wasn't the best idea. Hippos are aggressive territorial animals, which is atypical for herbivores. In general, these are unusual creatures. They feed only on plant food, but have terrible fangs as long as an adult man's arm. Such teeth are needed by hippos not for the sake of hunting, but in order to loosen the soil. But the fangs can also bite the lion's torso without problems because the hippopotamus has such a powerful bite and a huge jaw that the beast is able to sink motorboats. The lions clearly underestimated this beast, or thought that the lack of aggression towards the hippopotamus guaranteed its loyalty. The predators were wrong anyway. A hippopotamus can be provoked not even by an attack, but by the very presence of a predator. A giant weighing about 3 tons attacks a whole group of lions, and the predator simply scatter in different directions. Perhaps they could pose a danger to such an opponent, but the hippopotamus would take 1 lioness at least with him. and the pride does not need these losses, and the lions are retreating. That same night, unsuspecting hyenas approach the carcasses. It is rare when these vicious and cruel predators are pitied. Well, now is just such a case. The hippopotamus seems to appear out of the ground and scatter the hyenas that dared to disturb it. The hippopotamus does not need a carcass that could be gnawed by scavengers here, but he simply does not allow carnivorous animals to feed here on principle. It seems that hyenas deliberately behave as modestly as possible and show the hippo that they are not going to attack it. But the giant does not care. If he decided to leave the predators hungry, then they will not see that food, at least on his territory. The springbuck is one of the fastest animals in the world. The peculiarity of this type of ungulates is the ability to move with sharp and incredibly fast jumps. A springbuck can literally jump over a predator and calmly run on. However, these animals should not have neglected the lions. Although these predators are significantly inferior to them in speed, they are able to coordinate their actions well and hunt in well-coordinated teams, in which some lionesses distract, some attack directly, and the male lion covers his girlfriends. The springbucks allow the lionesses to surround themselves. Ungulates underestimated the agility of the predatory cats. One of them ran against the herd. Those ungulates that were right in front of her were too fast and easily broken away. But the lioness did not attack them, but those springbucks who were immediately behind. The optimal timing of the attack allowed one of the lionesses to get within striking distance. The ungulate did not expect this, but demonstrated its unique maneuverability. However, the springbuck did not manage to leave. At a key moment, he stumbled and fell right in front of the predator. The herbivore jumped to its feet with lightning speed, but the lioness is too agile to miss such a chance. He easily knocks the victim down and finishes her off. Pay attention to how the lion jumps on the prey, as if he is bragging to the lionesses that he can also jump very high. They didn't seem to appreciate this. What do you think? This bear cub is no longer small at all. He weighs like a young wolf. However, it is still far from reaching its maximum dimensions. Although the teenage bear already walks separately from its mother, explores the world, and even hunts, the female still looks after her offspring. However, the bear cub was alone now and noticed a lynx. In other circumstances, the cat would hide from such a stranger, but the den with kittens is very close. The bear cub does not know who it is dealing with and attacks the lynx, which distracts the insatiable predator to protect its cubs. I mean, this is some real drama, isn't it? Fortunately, the fight between these ferocious beasts looks more comical than cruel. The lynx and the bear exchange powerful blows, roll on the ground, bite each other, and try to strangle each other, but none of them really gets any serious harm done. Even a young teenage bear is 1.5 times more massive than a lynx. His thick layer of subcutaneous fat protects him from the fangs and claws of a cat that cannot effectively squeeze the throat. On the other hand, the bear is still quite inexperienced, and the lynx easily avoids serious hits from his blows even in close combat. The agility of the lynx and the strength of the bear seem to balance each other out, and as a result, the opponents turn out to be absolutely equal. Moreover, although the fight lasted for several minutes, neither the lynx nor the bear has any wounds. It is not known how this clash would have ended if it had lasted any longer. But an angry bear arrived at the sounds of the struggle. A huge female is 10 times more massive than a lynx and can literally drive an opponent into the ground. If she catches him, of course. But the cat breaks out of the bear's embrace with lightning speed and easily hides from less agile opponents. It remains to be hoped that the kittens will also be safe. However, this will be a lesson for the bear cub. Even if the opponent is smaller, this does not mean that it will be easy to cope with him. If not for the mother's help, the lynx could still defeat the enemy, especially since he posed a real threat to her kittens. And how do you think this duel would have ended if it hadn't been for the intervention of the bear? Answer in the comments. We are interested to know your opinion. The polar bear is the largest land predator on the planet. On his hind legs, he will rise to such a height that he will be able to look into the windows of the second floor. With one blow, such a predator is able to break the spine of a reindeer. This hungry bear walks along the icebound shore in search of food. The beast knows about its strength and immediately rushes into battle as soon as it notices potential prey. Polar bears literally take large seals out of the water, attack elephant seals, which weigh more than 1 ton on the social network, swim well, and run fast, despite their huge mass. Do you think the bear victim has no chance, no matter who she is? Probably. The predator also has such a high opinion of himself, but does not really know who he is dealing with. The walrus is a very dangerous animal. If a polar bear weighs a little less than half a ton, but a walrus weighs twice as much, that is more than a ton. In principle, the predator successfully copes with sea elephants, which are even larger and more massive. But here the bear has a serious obstacle on the way to a hearty lunch. Fangs. The huge teeth with which the walrus can split small ice floes are weapons that should not be neglected whatsoever. A very thick layer of subcutaneous fat of the walrus will withstand the first few blows of even an adult bear, and then the fangs of the pinniped will open the predator and pierce its belly. When the bear realized that such a result was waiting for him, he retreated. The walrus repelled the predator's attack and dived under the water. There he also has an advantage in maneuverability due to the streamlined shape of his body. As a result, the predator not only had to retreat, but also run to a more reliable and thick ice.